Good morning and welcome to Start Your Day with Dr. A, a 5-minute inspirational to get your day off to an amazing start and to keep you growing. And we're going to continue to talk about how valuable you are. I love talking about that with you because of what Jesus said in his teaching on Sermon on the Mount. He said, listen, if I take care of the birds, you are far more valuable than they are. And I want us to really refocus that because we miss it sometimes. He says you're valuable. You know what? Throughout history, people have sought to steal valuable works of art, and there's been a bunch of movies made on that. And the most famous work of art, and there's a movie made about this too, in the world ever stolen was the Mona Lisa. That painting, the Mona Lisa, and that was taken in 1911 by a person named Vincenzo Peruggia. And he was an employee of the Louvre, and that's where the painting resides. And here's how he did it. He hid in a broom cupboard and then snatched the painting after the museum was shut. And it was missing for 2 years and finally recovered. The Mona Lisa was finally recovered in 1913 and then returned to the Louvre in 1914. But guess what? Guess how much that would be worth, the Mona Lisa would be worth today? It would be worth at least $2 billion with a B, $2 billion in today's money. And it was hands down the most expensive individual object ever stolen. But you know what? While the Mona Lisa might have been the most expensive object ever stolen, it's not the most valuable thing ever stolen. Because the enemy seeks to steal something far more valuable and precious from us. He wants our image and identity. He wants us to think that we're not valuable. And just like Peruggia, that thief who stole the Mona Lisa, the enemy today, who Jesus styles as the thief, he knows that our value far exceeds $2 billion. And he knows that's so important. Sometimes he tries to make us feel invaluable at a young age. Sometimes a negative word spoken to us by a teacher, before our critical thinking is even established, and it becomes sometimes a neighbor, a family member, even someone in church, and that can get lodged in our hearts and make us feel unworthy and valueless. But remember, no one can establish and change our identity without your agreement. So we're not going to allow that. We're looking again at the fact that maybe that word was not true. So to reverse that, what we do is we not only go to that thought and say that thought or that word wasn't true, but we continue to saturate our mind and thoughts with the Word of God. Listen, go back on these little 5-minute things, specifically the ones that talk about your uniqueness and your value. Because you need to saturate your mind and thoughts with the right thing. Because for a lot of times we've been taught that we're not valuable, that we're not important, that God doesn't value us, but He does. And you have to get that saturated in your mind, the truth of it. And then after that, you continue to only say what God says about you. And He says you are valuable. And you know what? Since God says you're valuable, then you got to agree and say you're valuable. And again, I want you to say that and say that throughout the day. That's your call to action. Listen to this if you need to, more than once. I just want you to be able to say and know, yes, I am valuable. I am valuable. Say it until it heals. Say it until it replaces anything that's negative. Yes, you are. That's going to close it for today. But tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about the fact that you really are valuable because God has big plans for you. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Start Your Day with Dr. A.